Are you ready to start another chapter today? Look to the board. Quest for a theory of everything. That is a chapter today. Look, a theory. A theory means one theory. So we are looking forward to find one theory which describes almost everything in the universe and what happens in the universe. Is it? Okay. This is chapter number 3 from your first unit. Isn't we have already studied all other 3 chapters. The first chapter, second and third, fourth one. If also they have finished. This is again also a motivational one. I was giving you an introduction about the first unit. It totally gives us motivation and inspiration. When we were going through I Will Fly by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, we got inspiration to be unique. And we were talking about his first flight to overcome the fear in the life. And the practice makes man perfect. And in case of if we got almost every qualities which a person need to be grateful and to be genuine and to be a leader in the life, in our own life. Here in Quest for a Theory of Everything, you will get great motivation for what? To overcome, to tackle your adversities, your difficulties. That's the point today. This is written by Kitty Gale Ferguson. This is biography of a great scientist who lived in our century, in our age. He died in 2018. Stephen Hawking. Especially science students who should admire him. Not only science students, everyone should admire him because of his intelligence, because of his contribution to the world of science. Right. So we are talking about Stephen Hawking. So who wrote this script about Stephen Hawking? This Kitty Gale Ferguson. Kitty Gale Ferguson. Talking about Kitty Gale Ferguson, he is a science writer. Means a person who writes some scientific script or scientific novels or scientific theories. He is well known to make scientific facts clear for everyone, even for the non-science people from non-science background. They will get also motivation when they read the script of Kitty Gale Ferguson. She was a lecturer and a former professional musician. She was a musician also. That's a great point. And she has authored numerous science books, including books on biographical facts. So look at the contributions of her writings. Look, she wrote biographical facts. Ferguson's works are recognized for their degree of detail and accuracy. 2 points you should note about her: detail and accuracy. That was the speciality of Kitty Gale Ferguson's works. She is known for her ability to explain every complicated scientific concept. So that's why I told about her. If you want to know some complicated scientific fact, if you go through the works of Kitty Gale Ferguson, it will be clear. I hope you got idea about her. She wrote about Stephen Hawking. That's a point today. She wrote about Stephen Hawking. See, look at this. Stephen Hawking. In full name, Stephen William Hawking, born January 8, 1942. It was in Oxford, England, Oxfordshire, and he died, in 2018, March 14. That's why I told you we can tell our coming generation that we live in the age of Stephen Hawking. 2 years ago he passed away. He was such a great personality to contribute a lot to the world of science. Look at him. He was, Cambridge English theoretical physicist. He was a theoretical physicist, and his theory exploring black holes drew upon the both relativity theory and quantum theory. He made this relativity theory and quantum theory more famous. He also worked with space-time regulation, singularity, space-time singularities. This is all about Stephen Hawking as an introduction. In all this chapter, we are going to talk about Stephen Hawking. That's why we don't need a great explanation here. Okay. So before going into the chapter, as it is an introductory part, Dr. Kalam exhorts everybody to be unique in his own way. So everybody should be unique in our own way and his own or her own way. That was a message from I'll Fly, second chapter of our plus one English. Okay. So there are many people who have proved their uniqueness even while fighting advertising. Even they were fighting with adversities. Adversities means difficulties. When people have difficulties, they face all that and they become heroes. And we have so many examples. Even we go to the YouTube or Google, you will get such examples. And you know many people nearby you also, after tackling many difficulties, they became great personalities, right? Here we have such a personality who tackled the adversities in his life and became a great one and limitation. Stephen Hawking's profile reveals how he has overcome his disabilities to become a supernova of science or supernova of physics. He became a supernova of physics, a great personality and a famous one in the field of science. How he became like that? That's the point today. So let's start. Quest for a theory of everything. So in the beginning of the chapter, we are talking about an incident which occurred in the life of Stephen Hawking. He was about to inaugurate a function. There was a seminar or a paper presentation, or there are many scientists and professors. Everybody was sitting in the auditorium and they were waiting for a great person to listen to him. We will discuss. So when we start a chapter or when we start talking about a person, maybe we can start, he was born in 1942, like that we can start. This is another way of starting the biography of a person. Stephen Hawking, when we talk about the profile of Stephen Hawking, Kitty Ferguson started talking about one incident from his life. Look, in the Cockcroft Lecture Room on April 29, 1918, scientists and university dignitaries gathered in steep tiers of seats facing a two-story wall of chalkboard and slide screen. So many people are sitting. Who are sitting? Scientists and dignitaries. They gathered. They were sitting in steep tiers of chair. With a steep tire, there was chair with steep tire. They were sitting, looking to a two-story wall. There was a wall. Two-story means two-floor, like we call. We have two-floor house. Like the same thing we can say two-story house with two folders, or we can say two floors. That's we are using here. Okay, so to that two-story wall there was a chalkboard and a slide screen. Everybody was what they were doing. The occasion was the inaugural lecture by a new Lucasian professor of mathematics, the 34-year-old Stephen Hawking. People were waiting for a Lucasian professor. He was a professor of mathematics. He was 34 years old at that time. Every people was waiting for that person. And he was a physicist, that was Stephen Hawking. Everybody was waiting for him. The title of the lecture was a question. So for a project or for any seminar topic, we will be asking a question, right? Like that, here we had the topic was a question. For example, I'll give you, if we are talking about the democracy of India, so we just give, is the democracy end? Like that, we give a question for a speech or presentation. Like that, you can see, the title of the lecture was, is the end in sight for the theoretical physics? So, I hope you got it. Theoretical physics, whether it is going to end or not, we are stopping theoretical physics. And what happened, Stephen startled, means he amazed, he made wonder the audience by saying it was. He said that theoretical physics was going to end. That was his point. So friends, he told that theoretical physics was going to end his listeners by announcing that he thought it was. That means Stephen Hawking thought the theoretical physics was going to end. He invited them to join him a sensational escape through time and space to find holy grail of science. So if we want a last remedy or the holy grail, it's a term like holy grail means the last remedy, last escaping wall. To escape the science or to save the science, we have to go through the escape through the time and space. Then we can do that. So Stephen Hawking invited all scientists, all professors, all the people who were listening to him to escape through time and space to find a holy grail for science. The theory that explains universe and everything in it. So Stephen Hawking thought we need to find a theory which explains each and everything in the universe. That was the dream of Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking sat silent. So we are still talking about that incident which happened in the Cockcroft classroom and auditorium. People were waiting for him. It was an inaugural lecture. So Stephen Hawking, he sat silently in a wheelchair. He was sitting in a wheelchair. I hope you all remember his poster which we got. While one of his students read his lecture to the assembled company, there were many people gathered. His friend, his student, read the paper which he prepared. Judged by appearance alone, Hawking did not seem a promising choice to lead any adventure. Judging by appearance, people, we have a character that when we see any person, we will judge them by appearance, right? Like that, judging, for example, a new teacher come to a class, looking at his face or her face or his or her body language, you will tell, this man, what he can do. Everyone, not maybe me also, whenever we meet a new person, looking to the body language or the his figure, we will make a judgment. That's why looking to the body of Stephen Hawking sitting paralyzed or sitting in an unhealthy mood, people thought he is not such a promising person, he cannot make any adventure. That was a comment from the people. So that is the first part of the profile. We were talking about an incident. Everybody was waiting for that person. So we want to know about his childhood. Stephen Hawking was born on 8th January 1942 in Oxford, England. It was exactly after 300 years after the death of Galileo, the father of modern science. Who is the father of modern science? Galileo. After his death, after 300 years after his death, the same day, Stephen Hawking born. So there will be any coincidence that after 300 years to leave the science, again we got another scientist. Frank and Isabel Hawking, they were the parents of, Frank was the father, Isabel was mother of Stephen Hawking. They were from a poor background, they were not much wealthy. Same time, they valued the education of this person. They understood the value of education. Like many parents, even if they have no money with them, they will do one thing, what? They will send their children to better schools for what? To get better education, right? Like that, Stephen's parents were not wealthy, but they believed in the value of education. So they planned one thing. They planned to send Stephen Hawking to the best school in the heart of London, Westminster. That was the best school at that time. But I have already told you, to get admission in the Westminster, they need money, they were poor. But there in Western countries or in every country, there are such opportunities to write scholarship examinations. Or whenever you score good mark, you will get scholarship in the next school, right? Like that. There was an option to write scholarship examination, and they planned to send Stephen to that Westminster. But what happened, at the time of scholarship examination, Stephen was ill and he could not attend the scholarship examination. As I already told you, they were not They were not affording such an amount to send him to that school. So that they were satisfied with another school, he attended the local St. Albans school. So he attended St. Albans school. They planned to admit him to Westminster. He could not attend that because at the time of scholarship examination he was ill. He could not attend the examination. Look, by the time he was in. So we are talking about his childhood. Now we already told about his schooling. Now we are talking about his 8th age. Now we will be talking about his 14, 17, 24, 23, everything. Okay. So now it's at the time of 8. He was seriously thinking of to become a scientist. He was thinking of being a scientist. So I heard many students like you, like everyone tells, whenever they get a great personality, they think he has no education. Bill Gates, he was a dropout. Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs. Like we always think about such people. They didn't go for +2. They didn't take science, but still they are great people. Like Jeff Bezos of Amazon. You think like that. I'm not talking that all these people are uneducated. Simply giving you examples. Some of you tells like that these people has no education, but he became great. That's why I was talking name of some great people. But understand, basically all those people were intelligent. Okay. So if you are also great intelligent boys and girls, you can also crack many things. But always understand, to live in this country or to move forward in the world, you need some minimum education. That's why your parents and teachers compel you to study all time. And you can create miracle after that. Okay. So Stephen, look at Stephen. When he was 8-year-old boy, he was thinking of being a scientist. Okay. Frank Hawking encouraged his son to follow him into medicine. Frank was his father. He was concentrating in medicine. Okay. That's why he told Stephen Hawking to follow science, like with science, medical science in the biology. Stephen found biology was too imprecise for him. That was not proper for him. He didn't like biology, but he wanted a subject which will give answer for all his questions, answer for the root of things. That's why he preferred mathematics and physics. Why? He wants to know the root of things. That is a point. If you have brain, think about the root of things. Still there, we have many findings to come. I know many people still think, oh, we are now in the prosperous time. We have no any invention to come again. Never, never, never. When people made great inventions like Isaac Newton, people thought, oh, there will not be any other scientist. That's okay. It's only finished. Stephen Hawking came. Then we think almost everything has found. Look, at the time of Isaac Newton, there were no mobile phones. If Isaac Newton come to this world, he will also get wonder. Oh, great people. So generation after generation, we have to develop. We have to make this world a better one to live. Okay. So here, he wanted a course to find the root of things. Young Stephen was not a prodigy. He was not what we call in Malayalam padikist, right? He was not such a genius. He was just an ordinary school boy. Even the prodigy means, it doesn't mean that he was not intelligent. He was intelligent. And the intelligence cannot, we cannot count the intelligence because of his mark or score in the scorecard. That's one criteria only. There are other ways also to count the intelligent power or IQ. Okay. He was low in learning and he was low when he was boy, read, and his handwriting was a despair of his teachers. Despair means the sad. So teachers, whenever they get the paper of Stephen Hawking, they were getting despair, they were getting sad. How to read this? That much boring was the handwriting of Stephen Hawking. He was ranked more than half in the classroom. Whenever there is a rank list, if there is 30 students, he will get the rank 16 or 17. More than half, his rank will be more than half. Means he cannot maintain a good rank. That's why, but in defense, Stephen Hawking always said that, it was a bright class. That's why I got 16 mark. Means if you have a bright class, everybody score very good mark, you miss a rank for 1 point or a 0 point, then you can say it was a bright class, I also performed maximum. Like that, in the same defense, he was also using, it was a bright class, his class was a bright class at 14, so that was about 8. Now it's come to 14. After 8 we told he was in St. Albans school and he was bad in mathematics, he was bad in writing, reading, and his handwriting was very bad, all things we told. Now at the age of 14, Stephen knew that he would pursue mathematics and physics. He has to study mathematics. When he happened to know that, his father called his father told him that is impractical. Because if you choose mathematics, there is no any job opportunity in mathematics. There is only teaching. People think teaching is not a good profession. Maybe like that. There is only teaching profession. Okay, in mathematics, there were no jobs in mathematics except teaching. Only teaching was as a job for mathematics. So his father told him, don't select, because all fathers, they think that they want to make their students or their children the better one and to make their life safe. That's why they tell that. Moreover that Frank Hawking wanted his son to attend his college. Whose college? Father's college, Oxford. He wanted his son to attend his own college, and Oxford offered no mathematics. So his father was working in Oxford and his father wanted him to attend his own college, but there was no mathematics. That's why if Stephen didn't select mathematics, if Stephen did select mathematics, he cannot join Oxford. Then what Stephen Hawking did, he followed or received the advice of his father, Frank Hawking, and he studied chemistry, physics, and a little mathematics also. In preparation for the entrance in Oxford, he did well in physics and the interview was brilliantly accepted. So he attended the interview to Oxford. He became a student of Oxford now after 14. In 1959, at the age of 17, so we were talking about 14, now it's coming to the 17, Hawking went to Oxford to study natural science and to specialize in physics. He joined University College, his father's college, and the oldest was Oxford Foundation, 1249 AD. So he joined that old college. For what he joined there? To study natural science and to specialize in physics. That was his life in Oxford. But for about a year and a half, when he was studying in Oxford, things were getting bored for Stephen Hawking when he was living. That happens in the case of almost every human. Whenever they go to a new place, they will get bored, right? Even after 10th standard, if you're coming from another school and another atmosphere, you always think about how to adapt, and you will take risk to adapt to the situation. Even though there are many students, they can adapt the situation very soon. Anyway, but to get rid of that boredom or to get rid of that bad situation, Stephen never studied well. There are many people, they always exert in academics and get rid of or they will escape from the bad situation. Stephen did not do that. But after 2 years, he started enjoying Oxford after 2 years. So he became popular and well accepted among his peers. I hope you know that peers. The word peers means people think alike, the same group of age, like your classmates and your friends in your hometown. All those people are known as peer groups, with same age, with same philosophies, with same logics. Okay. They remember him as like his friends remember Stephen Hawking. So T.G. Ferguson writes all this. Okay. So his friends, Stephen's friends, remember Stephen lively, buoyant. He was cheerful, with happy face and an adaptable person. He will adapt to every situation very soon at that time. He wore his hair long, was famous for his wit. Wit means, like we call joke, but There is difference between jock and wit. What's the difference? Wit we usually use to denote something intelligent. Okay, not our normal chalice. That's not okay. Like classical music and science fiction. He liked classical music, science fiction, and took part in sports also. Stephen Hawking. Okay. However, at the end of the third year, Hawking almost floundered. He was become clumsy, or he became weak physically. He selected theoretical physics as his specialty. He had then applied to a PhD at Cambridge. So at that age, third year, he applied for a PhD work in Cambridge, and was accepted on one condition. If he get first rank from Oxford, Cambridge will accept him to do PhD there in Cambridge. Okay, and he was confident also. When they told, he was confident that I will get first rank. But what happened that when the exam came nearby, he lacked his confidence. He could not score well, but he entered his mark disastrously in a borderline between first rank and second rank. There was a narrow difference to first rank, or he will be second rank with another point. That was there. So as he was in that borderline, what happened? The examiners called him. Faced with a borderline result, the examiner, they call him Hawking for an interview to make him first or second. So they question. At that time, when we are in that time, almost we will be tense, right? But irrespective of the tension and the situation, Hawking managed to answer. And they were asking many questions to him about his plan. If you get first rank, what you will do? If you get second rank, what you will do? And what about your further plans and studies? So what happened? Stephen Hawking, in spite of the tenseness of that situation, he managed to answer. Whenever they asked him a question, what was his answer? He told, if I get first rank, I shall go to Cambridge. And if I go second rank, what happened? I will stay here. So I hope you will give me first rank, because you can send me away from Oxford. That was, even if it is a joke, he could manage to say that, and that was accepted. He got first rank and he went to Oxford, Cambridge for his PhD. In Oxford, when he reached Oxford, his first year was boring and he was having tough time. Like that, it was worse in Cambridge. His first year at Cambridge was worse than that at Oxford. His slipshod mathematical background means he had no very good mathematical background at that time. He was studying a little mathematics. His specialization was in physics, and he was focusing on natural science in the Oxford. Now when he reached Cambridge, his slipshod means a bad background on which is not much authentic or much powerful background, or not powerful background in the mathematics. That caught up with him, means that made him to withdraw him backside, and he found general relativity explained later. Another far more disastrous problem arose them. During his third year at Oxford, Hawking started getting clumsy, means he was going paralyzed. Sometimes he will feel dizzy and he can't walk well, he don't know what to do. That was also a problem which he faced when he was in Oxford. He had fallen once or twice for no apparent reasons. The following autumn, sometime he fallen without any reason. Following autumn at Cambridge, he had trouble he could not tie his shoe well. Maybe sometimes he don't know what to do. He had difficulty even talking to people. He felt difficulty, like he missed the words. So all that physical problem was there for him. Shortly after his 21st birthday, 1963, Hawking contracted a rare disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. He met with this disease. For that disease, like cancer nowadays, there was no any known cure. There was no any famous medicine for that. If somebody got that, like now we have COVID pandemic, COVID-19 here, we have no any known or famous medicine or capsule for this. That's a problem, right? Like that, there was no any cure, medicine for that, for this amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. What was the symptoms or the effect of that one? It caused a gradual disintegration of the nerve cells which go from spinal cord to brain, or to the from spinal cord to brain. There was cells that was not working, that was disintegrating all the time. At first he went into a deep depression. Then he was thinking he was sad and he was depressed, and he don't know what to do also. Look, what ought to do or what his future would be like. He was thinking, how will be my future? That was his problem at that time. Look, he says, my dream at that time were rather confusing. He admitted, Stephen Hawking admitted, my dream at that time was rather confusing. I don't know what to do. I am not physically able, like before my condition was diagnosed. So he doesn't know what was his condition. He didn't know that. But after diagnosing the condition, what happened, I had been very bored with life. There did not seem to be anything worth doing. Before diagnosing, his life was boring. But after diagnosing, it was interesting. Before diagnosing, he thought there was nothing to do with my life. But now I understand. Maybe I will die after some days, after some years. That's why I have to do something worthwhile in this world. See, but shortly after I came out of the hospital, I dreamt that I was going to be executed. I'm going to die again. I suddenly realized that there were a lot of worthwhile things that I can do if I live again, or if I die. I have to do many things in my life. Okay. Another recurring dream was the idea of sacrificing my life to save others. If I sacrifice my life by donating organs or anything, I can save other lives also. That was also a thinking. After all, if I were going to die, I might as well as do some good things. That was his philosophy. So before diagnosing that medical condition, his life was boring. There was nothing to do. But after diagnosing, he was getting more energy, right? But many people I know, after meeting with disease or anything else, they always think, I'm going to die, so they're depressed. Instead of that, he got energy from that. Hawking's doctor hoped that his condition would stabilize. They thought that would stabilize, but the disease aggravated. That became worse, bad. Rapidly, the doctor informed him that he had only 2 more years to live. If you get such an information from your doctor that you are going to die after 2 years, what would be your condition? Look what Stephen did. 2 years passed. The progression of this disease had slowed. I didn't die. That was the word of Stephen Hawking. After 2 years, I didn't die. Still, I am alive here. In fact, although there was a cloud hanging over my future, even there was a cloud hanging over my future means I have no idea about my future, what to do in the future, but still there was an expectation, because even after 2 years I am still alive here. I found to my surprise that I was enjoying life in the present more than before. Total disability and death, though still a no too distant eternity, were postponed. See, even if it is not soon, still it's postponed to another day. My death will come in the next year or in the coming years. Okay. Were postponed. Hawking had his reprieve, a precarious and a temporary one, but life was precious. He just got reprieve, means he got out of that disease. Even it was like for some days, not much long, okay, and his life was precious at that time. At a New Year's party at St. Albans, just before he entered the hospital for test, Hawking met Jane Wilde. So when he went for the test, he met his wife, girlfriend, now this is the first meeting, Jane Wilde. To her, his disheveled graduate student seemed terribly intelligent. Jane Wilde think, oh, this person is terribly intelligent. I hope there is a film, like theory, the history of time, or like the time or something related with the history of Stephen Hawking. I hope when you watch that you will get it clear. To her, this disheveled graduate student seemed terribly intelligent. Jane thought, oh, this person is terribly intelligent, eccentric and rather arrogant, but he was interesting and like his wit. This person, even he was such a terribly intelligent and arrogant person, he was interesting, and Jane Wilde liked his wit. So that's all for today. They met together, and let's go through the progress of the story or the profile in the next class. I hope you got this. Okay, we'll give you some works. Do that. Thank you so much.